Hello to you all and a very warm welcome to the Irish in the UK. We've got some lovely stories on the show tonight. Patrica Ronane from Knock Pilgremages organises tours to Knock Shrine and the west of Ireland all year round. We'll be speaking to Tommy Donohue about the wonderful success of Parnells Ladies GAA team in London. But first up, Carmel Kelly hails from County Mayo. She's an author and she's written many children's books for educational purposes. And recently we caught up with Carmel on our visit to Manchester. Carmel, when did you first get interested in writing?
Well, I did my first course in 2007 and then my first book was published in 2012. My first three were published with Chloe O in Claremorris and they're OSullivan picture books for 4 to 7 year olds. And then my fourth book is a picture book as well, and that was for the ISPCA. We raised €2,000 for the animal charity. And then my most recent titles are Irish history for age 8+, and they're set in World War I, so it's 2 Irish incidents in World War I.
And of course, as a book there that I'm really interested in is the RMS Leinster. Tell me about that one.
Okay, so the RMS Leinster was torpedoed in 1918 off the coast of Dunleary in Dublin, and it was the biggest maritime tragedy in the Irish Sea. Nearly 600 people were killed, and we celebrated the centenary last year, so that was why we brought out the book.
And of course a lot of people from Manchester was involved in that tragedy.
That's right, some with Irish connections as well. There were about 19 people that we know of that are listed, but people came from all over the world and were on the Leinster that morning because it was during World War I, and a lot of soldiers were in Ireland on holidays and meeting their families. There were 500 soldiers on board, and a lot of them were Irish men who were serving in the war as well. And there were some from New Zealand, Australia, Canada, England, Wales, and of course Manchester as well.
Great history in this book.
Yeah, it's a great introduction to this subject, and that was my idea with this centenary series, which I hope to do a book every 1 or 2 years on Irish history for children. So I'm targeting subjects that are coming up to 100 years for the centenaries, and then I'm targeting subjects that there are no children's books on. So that's why we have Father William Doyle, who was a chaplain in World War I. That was my first centenary book, and the second one, the RMS Leinster, was 1918. So hopefully we'll have something out in 2020 as well.
And of course the other books you brought out are very educational for young children.
Yes, of course. The others are OSullivan, so I find adults like them as well because the turn of phrase. So it's simple Irish repetition, and these are from my imagination, whereas the other ones are based on historical fact.
And tell us how people can get your books.
So the books are on my website, www.carmelsbooks.com. My email is carmelkel, CARMELKEL @gmail.com, or my mobile number is 00353 85 161 2281.
Now, I know that you've got connections here with Manchester and you wanted to put out an appeal because you're looking for your long-lost cousins, aren't you?
Yes, that's right, Martin. So 3 of my aunts immigrated to Manchester in the 1950s. My father's 3 of his sisters, and we've lost touch because my father died in the 70s, and one of the aunts was his twin, Auntie Agnes Maloney from Kilmaine. She married Alan Thorne and they lived in Withershaw in 16 Foxfield Road. Then Auntie Maud married Jenkinson. I'm not too sure where they lived in Manchester. And then Auntie Isabel married Dawe. I think it's spelled D-A-W-E. We did hear later on that some had moved to Stockport. So if there's anyone out there with Mayo connections, probably Granny at this stage now. Their Granny would have been one of my aunts.
Well done to Carmel with all her books, and of course Carmel is trying to contact her long lost cousins, so if anybody out there can help her, please get in contact. Now Patrica Ronane from Knock Pilgremages organises groups to Knock Shrine and the west of Ireland, and recently we went along to find out from Patrica how it all works. Patricia, can you tell me, how did you first get involved with Knock Pilgrimages?
I was always involved in travel, but my father was a personal friend of Monsignor Horan, who, as you know, built Knock and developed the facilities there and the airport. And his dream was always to bring pilgrims to Knock. And by that he built the airport with that dream. So somebody said to me, you know, would I consider doing that? And I felt, yes, that there was a need there for the Irish diaspora to come back, who maybe don't have somebody at home, or indeed the Irish who just want to come back and experience home and the wild Atlantic way.
And of course, Knock is a beautiful place to go to now. You can stay there, you can have a nice little holiday around Knock.
Yes, it's a small village. When I bring groups in, they look for the shopping in it, and I said there's one street, which is the main street in Knock. And it's difficult to explain it, but it's very peaceful. There's just an air about it where, as busy as it is, it's never overly busy. So you have good time to reflect and that quiet time which we all need to step back from the hustle and bustle.
Now tell me about Knock Pilgrimages, how you organise the tours and what generally happens.
Well, most of the packages are 4 nights or 5 nights. The convenience is flying into Knock, which is only 20 minutes from the actual hotel that we use, the Knock House Hotel. And it's a good balance between, I suppose, prayer time, spiritual time, but also there's a social aspect to it. So we will have masses during the day which are optional. Some people just don't avail of that. And we go out and we see the sights. So, for example, we go to Ballintubber Abbey on one of the days. We go to see Croagh Patrick and Westport. And on another day we go out to the Father Peyton Centre in Attymass and, of course, Tom Hennigan's Heritage Centre in Killasser. So you have a balance there of out and about, seeing what we have in the West to showcase. And then in the evening, there'll always be entertainment. We could have a bit of traditional Irish music. We could have a quiz. We could have a bit of dancing. We could have our Tommy Stenson jumping over the barrel. You know, so there's a good mix there.
It's like a little mini holiday.
It is, exactly, yeah. You make it what you want, you make it. So if you want to go and relax and do nothing and not go out, then that's fine as well.
You organise the full event, don't you?
Yes, and sometimes it's hard to get that point across, but for me it's a door-to-door service. So when somebody phones me, I take the bookings and then I meet them at the airport and I'm with them for the duration of that 4 or 5 night trip. You know, you'll have people who are living on their own, maybe widowed, and, you know, a little bit settled. You know, they need that little bit of courage. And I'd say the same to anyone that's coming with me. You will be looked after from door to door, and once you're there, anything you need, nothing is a problem.
Well, it sounds really good, you know, for it all to be organised and the whole trip you can sit back, relax and enjoy it, and it's about having a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's nothing better in the middle of the week than to see, you know, 20 or 30 people getting a dancing lesson in the middle of the Knock House Hotel, you know, and getting up and singing a song. And the most interesting thing for me is you can potentially bring together 20 to 30 strangers, and at the end of a trip, it's always they're exchanging contact information and they're making new friends. And isn't it lovely to think at that time of your life that you can actually do that? And then they'll come back next year and we might do something different. Might bring them to Galway and to West Clare, but we'll always gravitate back to Knock. And that's predominantly because of the convenience of the airport.
Patricia, tell me about the groups that you actually bring with you.
You could have a group starting with 2, up to 10, up to 15 or more. I can tailor make something if a group of friends want to come over and they want to visit somewhere different. All that can be arranged. You know, for elderly people that are travelling, sometimes they may have a fear, but we've all that covered. We've a very good medical relationship with the UK for people coming over.
And for church community groups or other Irish community groups, you can accommodate them as well.
Yes, and I think for larger groups, it's taking the hassle out of it for them. So also the fact that I'm at all protected gives huge peace of mind to those that are booking. So regardless of if anything was to happen, they're protected at all different stages. So for a large parish group, generally in the past the parish priest might have to organise it and he has to book the hotel and all that. Everything is done, and once they arrive they're looked after. It's pretty much door to door.
How can people contact you to book their tickets or to chat to you and find out a little bit more about it?
Yeah, and I like the idea of picking up the phone and talking to me, because again, as I say, I'll be the one that takes the bookings and then I'll be meeting the people when they're coming in. So my landline is 01268 762 278 and the email is knockpilgrimages@gmail.com.
Patricia does a wonderful job caring for everybody, and I'm sure if you go on one of our tours, you'll really enjoy it. Now don't go away, we're off for a quick break. Welcome back to the show. Now, Parnells Ladies GAA team in London has had unbelievable success, and recently we went along to meet them all. Tommy, when did you first get involved with Parnells Gaelic football?
1974, I actually joined the men's football team, and I played with them from 1974 to 1988. And then I started doing a bit of management, and I got involved with the ladies in 1993. But it's been absolutely unbelievable. We set out in 93 and we hadn't actually won a championship with the club. They had been formed since 1988, the ladies, and they were struggling to get over the line, and we just we went at it, and we didn't done 9 in a row in London championships and British championships. But I think the big breakthrough came then when we seen that we were quite capable of mixing it with the teams in Ireland. And of course we became the first club in '95 to win an All-Ireland in Ireland, the senior sevens, which was a phenomenal achievement because no club outside of Ireland had ever even got near that level. Then we played in the actual senior All-Ireland club final against Ballymacarbery in 1995, and we got beaten that night, which was no shame because they were going for 9 in a row. So, but it was a great achievement just to get to the final. And then set 97 again, we were in the finals, and since then we've actually competed in 8 All-Ireland finals, and we've won 5, lost 3. And we've won the World Championships as well in 2016. To win the World Championships in 2016 in Croke Park, I mean, there was we were playing continents and countries and nations. We were practically one of the only clubs that actually competed just as a club, and we beat them all and came out with the World Cup, and we're defending that now this year in 2019 in Waterford and Dublin. If we get through the groups in Waterford, we'll be going to Dublin for the finals in Croke Park on the 1st of August. So it's great to look forward to this year again, obviously. I've always believed that anything in life, it doesn't have to be football. You don't work hard, you don't get it. No. And I believe that the amount of work that myself and the people around me, like, you know, Jackie and the Brendans and all the people, the sponsors and everybody that's behind us, and the drive is on, because I think that 2012, and this is a true story, we won the All-Ireland Club the first time it ever happened to a ladies club, the actual club championship. And we beat the Leinster champions 11 points in the quarter-final, the Connacht champions Killarea and Clonberdon, which hadn't been beaten in Galway football since we beat them in 2012. They've won 6 championships in a row since then in senior. And we beat them, and then we beat the Munster champions in the final because they beat the Ulster champions. And that following year, 2013, we had a panel of 28, and we had Jenny Murphy, the ex-Irish rugby player. Jenny was playing with us, and Niamh Fahy, the Ireland player at the moment. Gary Fahy's sister from Killanny in Galway, she was playing midfield for us, and obviously a professional footballer. And we had, but the following year, out of the 28, 16 had left, gone home, returned back home, or got married or got pregnant, and we had only 12 of that squad left. I mean, if I can take the chance to thank sponsors like Finbar, Holian and the Claddering, and Jerry Gardner, Gigi Hire, and Paul a Galway man as well, Paul Lavelle with P&R Concrete and Norvale. They all played for Parnells, these lads, and they've all been massive with sponsorship for us. Stevie Morrow in just out the road here in Northvale.
Former president of the GAA here in Britain would like to send you a message. That's Paddy Johnson. He lives over there in Donegal now, and he mentioned to say a big hello to you and well done and good luck for this year.
Well, Paddy, a funny thing was I played. Paddy was playing actually in 1982 for the Oceans against Parnells in the British final, and I was playing. Like, Paddy was a serious footballer and an absolute gentleman, and was a massive loss obviously when he left Lancashire and left Oceans, because he was such a driver. But it's great to hear that Paddy's in good health, and tell him as well that I held a presidency myself with the ladies here for the last 5 years, and I understand how tough it was. But hopefully tell Paddy we may catch up somewhere along the way, but wish him the best of health and luck for us.
I started off in 1988. I joined Wembley Gaels and I stayed with them until 93, and then I joined Parnells and I was with them until I retired.
You've had so much success down the years, and of course around about your time and everything. It must have been great to be involved that time.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing because it had never been done by any other club, men or women, to get a win in All-Ireland Sevens, an All-Ireland Junior title, and that was my 5th visit to Croke Park at that stage. But you keep going, you get there eventually. Yeah, I had what else it takes me to get to where I was our teamwork and everyone putting in the effort. Not missing training, and obviously having the manager who was fairly good at the job he was doing, Mr. Donohue.
With the record that you've got and the amount of stuff that you've won, is that helping you now to get more girls involved here with the team?
Yes, I think probably the first website that girls that's coming from Ireland would probably see and want to read about is Parnells, because we have been and still is successful. And also friends of the players that may be playing now, and even then they would always be talking about Parnells, and obviously when you're there as county title holders for so many years, they're going to see that. And of course a lot of players, especially young players, they want to be with successful teams.
Now, Jackie, of course you've played with Parnells, you've played in goal, you've played out the field, you've done so much with the club, haven't you?
I have, yes. I didn't take it up till I was 30. I never even knew women play Gaelic football. I lived here since I was 10, you see. And I just found out about it by accident. And I came out, and first time I went out and started training and kicking a ball, I loved it. And I've been in love with it ever since.
And you've been a great club person down the years.
I get involved in everything, yeah. I don't do things by halves, I suppose. It's nice to just be involved. It's just part of my life. My children were brought up just around Parnells all the time. When we were up in Parnell Park, the kids would come up, they could run around, they were safe, and they were just always out with us all the time. I have albums and press cuttings and everything. I mean, it was my life. It gave me something when I was 30 with 3 kids and thinking, what am I going to do? And it just gave me a whole life.
And Tish, of course, you've been involved with Gaelic football, but your family up in Manchester has been involved in Gaelic football for many years as well.
Yes, my brother, Lord Emerson, and Greg, he was involved at O'Sheens, and Breffney was involved with Shannon Rangers, and he used to do a bit of refereeing, I think. And I had nephews that played as well, Damien O'Brien and Alex O'Brien. Yeah, that was a good few years ago. I remember going up there with Wembley Gaels and playing OSullivan Ladies way back in '89. Yeah, it was good fun.
Alice, there's great football history in your family, of course.
Yeah, there is. I have a great inspiration who is my mum, obviously. She's been playing for forever and she really got me into the game. That's how I started playing. And I started playing when I was about 7 and I'm still playing now, so it's very enjoyable. It's such an interesting sport because it's really different from everything else. I train on Mondays and Wednesdays every week, and then we normally have a match on the weekend.
So will you be going to Ireland with the team to Waterford?
Yeah, I will be going, hopefully to play, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So Niamh, how did you get involved with playing Gaelic football?
When I was about 7, I was playing soccer, and one of my friends and her mum played for Parnells, and they just brought me down for a training day, and then from then I just carried on playing.
And what's the difference would you find between playing soccer and playing Gaelic football?
Gaelic football is a lot more competitive and a lot more fun. It's a lot more like family orientated. Everyone always comes through like families, and you get a lot more experiences to travel.
Now you've been very successful as well playing soccer, because I know that you've just returned from America.
Yeah, I'm on a 4-year scholarship in university there currently. I'm only back for the summer, but it's really good.
I played for the Parnells men, and Tommy was manager for over 10 years. I was with them, and in 2012 he got me roped into getting involved with the women. If I'm honest, I was sort of looking on from the men's side of the things now over the years, and I was a little bit envious of the success of the women. So I'm sort of glad that he got me involved. They're a dedicated bunch. You know, it's I suppose it's the same with every club in London. You know, it's they're up at 5-6 o'clock in the morning for work, you know, taking their gear with them. By the time they get back after work straight to training, they're not getting home to maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. You know, every year you've maybe 8, 10, 12 players new to the club, new to London, coming on board. So it's just a matter of really trying to make things fun and interesting for them, you know, and varying it up, that it's not a waste of their time when they come out.
Of course, we're speaking there to Tish O'Brien, and she's been a great player here for the club.
You know something, I don't know whether she mentioned to you at all, but she's the only person outside of Ireland to have 5 All-Stars.
1980, I won my first one with Cavan at home in Ireland when I was living at home, senior All-Star, and in 81. And then in London, I got 3, 92, 93 and 94. And yes, they're a great achievement, but they're an individual award, but you wouldn't get them if your teammates around you weren't giving you the ball to do the business up in front of the goals. So that's the way I look at it.
So if people wanted to join Parnells GAA Gaelic Club here in London, how can they do that, Damien?
Well, they can log on to the website, which is www.size4.org, or alternatively, you know, if you Google Parnells Ladies London. We also train at Northwick Park, which is in the Harrow catchment area.
What a great story, and many congratulations to everybody involved with their magnificent achievements. And of course we wish Parnell Ladies the very best of luck for the upcoming competitions. Now that brings us to the end of the show for this week. Don't forget, Henry McGlade is back next Thursday evening with his show at 7 o'clock, and we're here with the Irish in the UK at 7:30, all on Sky Channel 192. Until then, take care.